She's here. Yay!
Nigeria.
Girl,
Sorry, it's just the network. Nigeria's
don't
network is messed
even
up.
don't even apologize. That's why we're here. Okay. I'm so
Yeah.
happy that you can
Hi.
join me. Hey. Okay.
I,
Let
I've
me
been
beg.
here like I've been here like 2 minutes before 6, but the network has just been messed up and all of that.
You're fine. You're fine. 2 minutes is it's chef's kiss with Nigeria Network. So thank you, really. Okay.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yes. How is your day going?
Very good. I've had a very
Yeah.
good Sunday. I mean, we basically just been following the Olympics, you know. So hey,
Tell me,
that's
who
like
is
the
what's like your favorite team, your favorite sports? Did you watch the
I'm rooting for Nigeria. I'm rooting for Nigeria like no other country. I don't care. My country comes first. Like,
I
and you
mean,
know the Tigress just qualified. So like that's like the highlight of
yes.
this Sunday. Yeah, they
I
qualified.
was so
Um,
scared to check that Nigeria would like be
lose. You
qualified.
thought we were gonna lose?
Like
No.
I was so scared because Lord
No.
knows the spirit that is following our president right now. I'm just like anything that
No, I knew I had some kind of hope. I was following, I
yeah.
had some kind of hopes. I was praying and they did. And to think of the fact that we are the first team in Africa, not just
I
Nigeria, right?
know. I know.
Men and women, that's like
That's
the biggest
insane.
history that we have
That's
created.
insane. And I'm
It
actually
is.
sad
It's
because
amazing.
like how are we even celebrating? I don't think are Nigerians even having the time right now to celebrate that kind of win or because
Yeah.
with the protests and everything.
Yeah, but I think it's something that we needed. It's just the perfect distraction in the midst of the chaos and all of the protests that we're having right now. So
Yeah.
somehow this was just some kind of brightness, and
Right.
I was jumping, I was dancing in my room, right? Because
I
I
have to
I
go
knew I
rewatch the
needed a
highlights.
win. I
Yeah,
needed a win
yeah, yes,
for
yes,
God's
yes.
sake. So I'm
Oh
really
my god.
excited. Yeah, we're
That's good.
excited.
That's
We're
awesome.
excited.
I mean,
Yeah.
personally, I feel like that's a better distraction than BB Niger, but don't quote me on that because I mean,
No, who cares? Who's watching
yeah,
BB Niger? Who has
girl,
time? I
people,
mean, like, I think that a
people
lot of
watch.
people, and surprisingly,
Uh-huh.
now that you mentioned it, I think I
Yeah.
saw a tweet during the week,
Uh-huh.
the height of the protest. I think
Yeah.
day 2, and a lot of Nigerians, were like, "What is happening? What's BB Niger?" Right? To show you that people are very interested in what's happening right now in the country, which everyone
Exactly.
should be interested. I mean, because
Everyone
we're
should
having
be.
the country is a mess. So it's not about entertainment right now. We need to fix the country. If we fix the country, then we can get back to being
Then
entertained.
do
But for
you do
now,
you get like let's be entertained after every other basic
yeah,
problem is fixed. So
yeah.
yeah, I'm actually surprised and happy at the same time because Nigerians we love cruise and we're like we kind of like to not talk about our problems in the hopes that it will just magically disappear.
Yeah,
And
that's it.
I'm happy that people are not distracted. Okay, let's get back to you because I'm so really happy to get to know you. I'm going to
I'm
try.
tired.
Yeah.
I'm very
Hey, I want to have you back as often as possible. So I'm really
okay.
excited. This first conversation is going to allow many of our viewers to get to know you as well. If they have questions towards the end of this live, we're going to open up Q&A so people can ask you all kinds of weird, hopefully great
All
questions.
right.
Great questions. Okay, so
Yeah.
guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another episode of Healthy Bands with Aidi. Today I have one of Akwa Ibom's favorite girls, okay, from Comfort FM. You guys love her so much, and every time people interacted with the flyer, they were just like, "Yay, Rose Akai! I can't wait, Rose Akai!" So finally, I'm also excited to have you here. All right, so Rose, as you guys may or may not know, has been a radio personality and a journalist, broadcaster, all of those good things, telling us all the juicy deeds and all the good things that she's been talking about on the radio. And I am hoping that you guys came with questions for her, especially to learn about why she's transitioning from broadcasting and how she's done that. Hopefully get some inspiration for yourself and ask great questions as we go so we can all continue to move these conversations forward. So I'm going to allow Nigerian Network to do what it's doing, and then hopefully our guest will be able to talk a little bit about herself, tell us where she's from in Akwa Ibom, and any other good thing that we should know before we get into the conversation. English, sir. Whoever is listening, someone is asking if we're speaking in English or Spanish. Does it sound like we're speaking in Spanish? Okay. So, tell me, girl, tell me about yourself. Where are you from in Akwa Ibom? I am from Ibiana, by the way. So, tell me about you.
Oh, my in-law is from Ibiona.
Okay.
And I think, you know what, if I meet 5 Akwa Ibom people on a daily basis,
yeah,
4 are Ibiona. Why are you guys everywhere?
girl,
you guys are everywhere. I'm not joking.
Blame our ancestors.
I know so many Ibiona people. And I'm always asking, what is happening? Why are you guys everywhere? And they keep laughing. I'm not joking. If I meet 5 Akwa Ibom people, 4 are from Ibiona. And I keep wondering why you guys scattered everywhere.
That's so
you
cool.
Guys are so,
girl, maybe there's a sign.
You guys are so popular. You're just gallivanting everywhere.
We love it. But seriously, it might be a sign. You might be, the Lord might be showing you a sign to come over to Ibiana.
There's already one Ibiona in the family. I can't have another one. It's not nice.
Okay, where
you gotta spread. You gotta spread everywhere in Nigeria, right? Just spread, multiply everywhere.
Hey, that's so cool.
Anyway, so you did ask me about myself, where I'm from, right?
Yes. Which
so I'm from Ona.
I've never met anyone from Ona. Oh, I think I had a classmate from Ona, but I don't remember where she is right now. That's so cool. Tell us something about
Ona. Something about Ona. The past governor was from Ona.
Girl, he did not make you guys proud.
My lips are sealed. God, my goodness. I was his number one critic. I just could not fathom how. Anyway, we're not here to talk about him.
Yes,
but I wasn't so happy with him. I wasn't. So that's it.
But I'm glad you brought.
What else do you want to know about me?
We're going to get into that because I'm glad you actually brought up the fact that you were his biggest critic, because that will help us talk about your time on radio and broadcasting before we start diving into how and why you decided to transition into tech. So talk to us about that part of your life. How you got into broadcasting, what even, like, after secondary school and college, it's like university is like, okay, how did that even happen?
I think I've always known I was going to be on radio. I've always wanted radio from my teen years. So no, I think I wanted to be a doctor first. Then I thought that I wanted to be on TV. I used to watch opera. I used to watch the likes of Tukumba Jai, the newscasters of the NTA. So and then I loved it at a point. But it was radio that I knew that I had to do, because when radio came into the scene, modern radio, and I started listening, I'm like, whoa. I could listen to people speak. I could listen to them and just imagine them, right? And I think that for me, that was the biggest thing that, as a teenager, that made me say, I think I'm going to do radio. I want people to imagine who is this person speaking, right? Who's talking? Who's this person? I like the way she sounds. I like what she's saying. I like that she's very intelligent. So radio was it for me. So that was I think that was like the most sustained passion that I had as a teenager, wanting to be on radio.
That's so cool.
So I had to for university I had 2 choices, com arts or English. But I wanted to go to University of Calabar. I did not want to school in University of Uyo.
I wanted so badly to go to uni. I didn't want to go to uni.
No, I didn't want. I grew up in Lagos. So I wanted to be very far from my parents. I wanted to be far from relatives. I wanted to be far from everybody. So I said to myself, if I school in Uyo, somehow I would have my relatives, uncles, and all of that. I
They'll be
didn't want
checking
that.
up
It's
on
very
you
really
like,
far.
girl,
Like,
what are you doing?
so I went to University of Calabar where I know that I didn't have a lot of relatives. Right, I just had one cousin, and that was it. So that was how I went to University of Calabar. And English, right? English and literary studies, and that's how it started. Um, my journey into broadcasting started with being a teenager wanting to do radio, and then
Awesome.
going to school reading English. But seriously though, before I even went to school, when I was preparing for my jam, I had a lot of people say, if you don't do media, if you don't do radio, if you don't do TV, you're wasting your time, and all of that. A lot of people, very early on,
They
a lot of
saw
people said, look,
something.
they did, they're like, oh, the way you speak, the way you do, the way I'm like, okay, let's go.
And girl,
Let's do
you're
that.
speaking, okay? I heard you once on Twitter Space, and I was like, I need to connect with this girl. Like, I was like, I need to
But
hear her
that's a good
speak
and bad
more.
thing. No, that's a good and bad thing, right? It's a good and bad thing. It's a good thing because for the profession as a media professional, you have to speak well. You don't necessarily need to have an accent, right? But you
True.
need to speak well.
Yeah.
Even the NBC code stipulates that you should speak without, a recognizable accent from a particular region, right? So
Okay.
that works fine. And it's a bad thing because people cannot easily tell where I'm from, and I don't like it, right? So
But
growing up in Lagos all my life,
wow.
people are like, "Where are you from?"
Mm.
And I say Akwa Ibom,
Akwa
and they
Ibom.
say Omo Calabar. I'm like, "No, I'm not Calabar. I'm Akwa Ibom." And they're like, "Oh, you don't speak like them. You don't have the accent." And while I was growing up, I felt that was a good thing, right? Because it felt like a
Right.
compliment, being able to speak without an accent, not people not knowing where you're from, and all of that. So it felt good.
Yeah.
But going to school in University of Calabar and then deciding to stay in Uyo, I changed that perception that I had that it was a
Yeah.
good thing that people could say that I spoke well and I didn't speak
Yeah.
like an acquired person. And I felt like there's nothing wrong with our accent.
There's
It's
nothing
just what it is.
absolutely wrong. Nothing.
If you're born and your first, language is not English, then obviously you're not going to speak with an accent. But if
Exactly.
your first, language is English, then there'll be no accent. And then I grew up
True.
in a cosmopolitan area, Lagos, where
Yeah.
you were meeting people from everywhere, and all of that. So
Yeah.
I just like it's a good and bad thing. So it's a good thing, but it's a bad thing because I actually want to be
You want to
identified by
identify with a group of people.
with my people, by how I speak or something. I don't have it. I wish I
Right.
did. I wish I could even do it. I wish I could
Yeah.
sound that way.
Can you
But
speak
I
Ibibio
don't.
though?
And
Can you speak Ibibio?
yes, I
Tang 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 same nonyen.
my Ibibio. Let me tell you, babe. My Ibibio is very foreign. It doesn't sound like Ibibio. But Miss the same, right? It just sounds
That's all we need.
foreign.
I love it.
It sounds
I'm
foreign.
gonna say my
It sounds
sister.
really foreign.
That's
It sounds
awesome.
foreign, but hey, I try and I try to write. On Twitter,
Yeah.
Aquarium on Twitter, they're doing really great. They kind of write the tweets in Ibibio, so I've learned some words, and I also try to tweet in Ibibio. So yeah,
That's
I'm
awesome.
progressive.
That's so cool
Yeah.
because growing up, I suppose I always had some sort of affinity for languages. For
Okay.
backstory, I studied in Ukraine. I studied in Russian and learned
Oh.
used the Russian language to finish university, first degree and second degree. So I was very surprised at myself how fast I picked up Russian. But because
Wow.
when I was in Nigeria, I actually studied EBBO. I actually studied EBBO as a course, like as a subject in school. Yeah,
Wow.
I remember my EBBO teacher. She was not joking. I studied the alphabets. I knew how to, and then I read the Bible in Efik Bible in church.
Oh wow.
So I actually loved learning like outside of English and just understanding the other aspects. But when I moved to Ukraine and just seeing how people were so proud of their languages and their accents and everything, I was like, what the hell is wrong with me and some people back home that we are so ashamed of the very thing that is you? Like
Identifies
this
us. Yeah.
this is who you are. Why would you be ashamed of your accent and your language?
Yeah.
And I'm so happy you said that because I think right now the world is, I mean, the part of the world where I live at, it's not many people who know exactly, like can pinpoint their roots and their tribe and their heritage in terms
Mhm.
of people who look
Yeah.
like me. So it's a privilege, I think, to be able to say
Yeah. It is.
I am identified with these people and this is who I am. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
I think everyone should be that way.
Yeah.
So that's basically it. And then I got a job on radio. My
Hmm.
first job on radio was with the first radio station in Uyo.
Okay.
Because after school, I wanted to get back to Lagos. I did actually move back to Lagos, but the
Right.
jobs were not there and all of that. And
Hmm.
I felt like, you know what, let me try some other places. I went to Port Harcourt to stay for a while. It wasn't working. And then
How
I
was
stayed in New
that?
York. I mean,
Yeah.
and I stayed for a year and I said to myself,
Hmm.
if at the end of this year I don't get a job or something, I'm
Right.
going to get back to Lagos. Let me just
Yeah.
move back to Lagos and all of that. But I was very, very lucky. December of the year, I was supposed to move back.
Hmm.
Um, I went for an interview. My neighbors were like, please go and speak this your English. This radio station is having an audition. This your English you're always bombarding us with. And I'm like, where? Like, oh, I go already. They're like, yeah, please go, go, go. Don't waste your English. Go, go, go. Because that's what they always say. Like, you're always speaking
Yeah.
English, you're always speaking English with this accent. Go away.
Go.
And so I did, and that's how I got the job. That's
That's
how I got my first
awesome.
radio job.
That's so
I
cool.
got my first radio job, and that was it. So that's how I started as a radio person. And then I moved from that station, like after 3 years.
Hmm.
And then I went to the second station, and that's where I stayed and decided to resign after a while. So that's basically
That's
it.
Comfort
That's basically
FM. Yes, that's where
yes,
you
yes. So it was I was first at Planet FM, and then I went to
Mhm.
Comfort FM for 6 years plus. And my
Wow.
duties actually changed when I was on Planet. I was basically doing the mid morning show, entertainment, and all of
Hmm.
that. I was an all rounder, right?
Right.
And I think it has
Right.
to do with my personality too. I'm pretty much that way. I'm really
Yeah.
rounded and crazy and all of that.
Girl,
Like
I love it. No,
so
really.
that
And I'm no, no, okay. So we laugh right now, but honestly, I
yeah.
think there's so many young Akwa Ibomites that we've had to almost like when I meet Akwa Ibomites, it's really difficult sometimes to say, oh, this person has this one talent because we typically kind of have like across the board, like
Oh, that's an
we're
Akwa thing.
not
I didn't know.
honestly, well, from what I've noticed, like my friends, they literally just cut across like different boards. Like
A
there
lot
is
of
no
things.
exactly. So I think it's really cool that you recognize that. And again, it's that quiet woman you.
Proudly. Anyway,
I
so
love it.
my duties changed. For my first station, I had to get into doing politics,
Hmm.
current affairs. Not like I've not had. When I was on Planet, I actually, interviewed some
Yeah.
of the politicians,
Yeah.
especially during the 2015 election. I did a lot of
Uh-huh.
those political interviews. That
Hmm.
helped me also for what was to come at Comfort FM. So when I got on
Hmm.
Comfort FM, I was the morning show host. And the morning show host is a very serious business.
Yes.
You had to read wide, you had to do history, you had to
Hmm.
do current affairs, you had to do
Yes.
politics, you had to do
Yes.
all of the serious business, right? So
Hmm.
that was what I was doing for 6 years, and it was interesting. I think radio is such an interesting career. I mean, the media is because you get to talk about really great causes, right? You get to
Exactly.
advocate for things. I loved it so much that I could be a part of trying to change the narrative and the mindset of people. That's I think like
Absolutely.
my greatest that's my greatest achievement somehow, on radio, that
Yeah.
I knew that every cause I was talking about, there were
Hmm.
meaningful things, right? There were
Yes.
things I was trying to change the mentality of people because I
Hmm.
could sense and I could feel from the audience that we have a problem with some kind of thinking, right?
Yes.
And being able to, channel discussions,
Hmm.
orchestrate discussions, raise
Yes.
concerns, raise questions,
Yes.
talk to the government, ask questions. Those things were so precious. And for me, I feel like that's like the one of the greatest things I did on radio.
Hmm.
Just being part of a change,
Yeah.
having that kind of influence.
Impact.
And
Yeah.
then also the kind of people that you meet, right? You get to meet
Hmm.
great people. You meet people from all walks of life. You're talking to
Policymakers, you meet people
you
who have
get
the,
you're
the
meeting those
ability to
people.
make
You're probably
change.
on
Yeah.
a first name basis with some of them, right?
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
you are telling them that this is it. Like you could
Hmm.
talk with them and know where exactly
I
they
would
stand,
say,
so to
I
say.
would just say you were essentially one of the strongest voices of our generation, right? Because I mean, in like everything you've described, you're in a position to advocate, you're in a position to hear what the people are saying, whether it's
Yeah,
online or offline, and bring it back and be like, all right, politician, this is what your people are saying. How do you
they
feel
don't like
about
me.
this?
They
They don't like
don't like
that.
me for that. You know, when I was on radio, I used to have a lot of you know, it's funny because the same people you're actually advocating for, the same people you're pushing for, are the same people who are thinking, what is this girl doing? She's doing too much. Who does she think she is? Like, why is she sounding this way? Oh yeah. That's something that happened a lot on radio, right?
Wow.
You would be talking about the fact that the government should do more, right? And then
Hmm.
people would call in and say, you don't really know what you're saying. The government is trying, give them time, or this is it. And people are arguing for the government, the same government that is against us. Like, I used to be so frustrated. On radio,
It's
I'll be like,
giving juju because
chains, they're in locks. And I think also that was one of my greatest frustrations being on radio.
yeah,
The fact that many people, when you tell them that this is not how normal governance should be,
this is not how
because
real
we've been
life
in
is.
chains for so long, right? Because
Yeah,
we've been enslaved for so long.
yeah. We'll have her back very soon. I think Nigerian Network is doing what it does best. But yeah, thank you so much, Kingsley. She is your comment is Rose Akai was literally one of the young and brilliant journalists that changed the radio journalism game in Akwa Ibom back then. That's awesome. I wish that I was in Nigeria to enjoy some of her broadcasting. I
Oh,
think we lost. So yes, no, we have you back. Let's continue,
yeah,
please.
network is
Don't
horrible.
just ignore. Just continue. Wherever we are,
Anyway,
we
so
are.
yeah, so that was one of my greatest frustration, that
Yeah,
we as broadcasters, we're trying to get you to see the light. We're trying to get you to see that it's it's a fight, right? It's us
it is,
versus them.
and it's a
And the
mental
truth
fight
is,
too.
it
That's
is,
why
it
you're
is.
doing a
And
lot of yeah,
yeah, and the truth is, if we don't collectively see that these guys are the enemies, then there's a problem. Because why are you, a poor person, supporting the government who is robbing you of your own commonwealth,
your
right?
own future. Like it's
I never
insane.
understood it. I never understood it, and I was frustrated many times. I
Yeah,
didn't like that part of my job. The fact that
yeah,
it felt like I don't want to be so hard on my listeners because I love them anyway, but they were very
yeah.
ignorant. Some of them were very ignorant. Some of them
And
were, and they were
willfully too, because
basking in their ignorance.
will that's the thing, willful
Yeah,
ignorance. It's like if you maybe leave your local government a little bit and go, in fact, talk to people in your local government and be like, what's really going on? Because I also suspect, we have this epidemic, I'll call it, of PA to PA, personal assistance to a personal assistance to a personal assistance. I feel that that culture, like politicians are, they're enjoying obviously because they
yeah,
love
they
being
are.
treated as mini gods. So they're
They love it. They
enjoying,
love it. They love
they're
it.
they're
They
enjoying
love it
being
so much.
worshipped. So they will obviously not teach you how to fish. They will be feeding you with all kinds of tiny crumbs of fish so that
Exactly.
just to close your mouth, and
Yeah.
that you essentially saying, guys, open your eyes, there is so much more abundance that you
Do
people
you
are
get?
not seeing.
They don't. And you know the funny thing? The funny thing is that I remember so many times on radio, some people say, "Oh, Rozay, you're only saying this because you're not part of the government. What if you were given a PA role, an SA role?" And I've said it many times, and I want to reject it
That's
because what are you
embarrassing.
saying? This
That's
is. I
honestly
have
embarrassing.
never seen myself in that light. I'm not
That's
joking,
oh
babe.
my
I would hear,
god.
"Oh well, are you saying you would reject it if you were given an offer to work as an SA or a PA?" I'm like, why would I want to do that? My life is way bigger than that.
Do you
Like,
understand?
I've never envisioned myself in that role. So why
That's
would you think?
insane.
Because that's how it started. All these people like, oh, God. It
That's
was crazy.
actually
It's
insane.
such a
That's
crazy mentality.
oh my
No
god.
way. Everybody just wants to be a PA or an SA and think that every other person wants to be that. So when you're different, when you say but this is not my dream.
When
I've
you
never
find
dreamt it.
value within yourself, it's almost
And
like
they're
you
like,
can't
no, you're
relate.
just saying it. No,
Yeah,
you're just saying it. No,
yeah.
you're going to change. I'm like, you guys have no idea who I am.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I'm
Like,
glad
it's
you said
crazy.
that because that again ties down to what we're discussing, right? Investing in Akwa Ibom, how and
Yeah.
why. And you've just talked about the why. The why is because your life is not this small and you actually can make a lot of impact. It's
Hmm.
not like relying on a politician to tell you how to think, to tell you what the truth should be, the twisted truth should be, and
Yeah.
they can't understand that fact. And I'm so happy because this is part of why, honestly, this is part of why I started this live show, because I think the more we talk about it, the more we make people realize, no, there's value within yourself. Like, don't insult God after he created you and put all this value in yourself, and
Hmm.
you're allowing the devil through these politicians to convince you that you are tiny, that you doesn't, like, your voice doesn't matter. And
Yeah.
that's why they are where they are, because they've convinced themselves and believed it, that their voices don't matter, they do not have any value within themselves to offer,
Yeah.
and because of that they have to rely on someone to feed them with free money, because we know.
It's a crazy mentality. I tell you, it's a crazy mentality. And sometimes when on radio, when I just come back from work, I'll sit down and just think about the day and like, huh? Why do these people think like this, right? I used
Yeah,
to actually think about like, why do they think this way? What's the problem? How are they so
how
gladly in
can
their
they see?
shackles?
Yeah,
I still do not understand it. I don't know if it's a function of, I don't want to use the it took syndrome that
it is,
we have been
girl. We have to
identified.
talk about it because I grew up hearing my mom tell
Oh
me
my
that,
god!
like, she would literally make fun of it took syndrome. Like, in our house growing up, like, if you said something and you were like, oh, it took, like, we would literally, my mom would literally laugh at you and be like, this is the took syndrome, that's, so so
Yeah,
she will name one pioneer politician that was trying to eliminate that thing,
yeah.
because it is ingrained in our
It's a problem.
vocabulary,
Yeah, it is. It is.
and people
It
don't
is.
realize. All you need to just drop that into syndrome for a year, and I promise you, I promise you, your life will
Yeah.
not even be the same.
I,
So,
I don't know where we're going to go from here, but one thing I do know is that I love the fact that a lot of more we're having more brilliant, acquiring people speaking up.
mhm,
A lot of us are in different spheres, doing different
yes,
things and trying to get them to see that there's really no impossibility and you cannot settle for small,
you
right? Or
can't.
you think that, oh, they're giving you this and it's enough. No, you shouldn't. I saw that when I was working on radio, right? I was some kind of renegade in a way because I would see things and say, this is not normal, right? This
Yeah,
shouldn't be. I wanted things a certain way because I believe that if you did these things this way, they'll be better. But the pushback I would get, it
hmm,
would make me realize that okay, these guys don't want more.
they're not ready.
Like they don't
They
want more for
actually,
themselves,
they're not
That's it.
ready. Yeah.
It's a problem. But I'm glad that you're doing this.
Thank
Having
you.
these conversations, so
Yes.
we can keep talking about it, and hopefully we
Yeah.
get our people to see beyond their noses.
Break free, girl. They should start
We
breaking
need it. We
free.
need it. That's it.
And I'm so really excited that we're again. I'm just happy because you're the third guest that I've had so far, and I want us to keep having this. Like I said, I really would like for you to come back in the future for us to keep having these conversations, because you're going to talk in a minute about transitioning to tech, why you decided to go that route, and how it's
Yes.
been, and maybe even give tips to just people who may not know exactly how
Yeah.
vast and how many options are in tech. There are like maybe a million options in tech that if you just do a little bit of research and say, okay, I enjoy this so and so thing, how does this tie into tech and how can I learn that skill? So please, you'll talk to us a little bit about that. But about broadcasting, I think politicians, Akwa Ibom politicians, and I'm not going to say Nigerian because this applies to Nigerian politicians as well.
Yeah.
Akwa Ibom politicians have this. They have learned. They understand the people that they're governing, right? And if just being on radio for 6 years has allowed you to see just how bad that can be. These politicians have been in politics for years and years, like decades, right? They've literally studied the minds of the people, and they know that the people will not fight back, they will not push back, they will not ask for any accountability. In fact, if anything, just do a little sprinkle of
Sprinkle, sprinkle.
the
Some
crumbs,
grains of rice,
you
grains of
know,
rice.
rice, and it
Sprinkle
will,
it.
like, just, they know that if you starve someone hard enough, hey, it's like a dog. Starve a dog long enough and then feed it, it will follow you everywhere, because
Yeah.
they know that concept. And I'm like, you guys are not dogs. You can actually think for yourself. You are higher primates, and you can use your brain. It's okay. I think nobody has told them that it is okay to think for themselves.
I
And
have no idea.
we
I
are
think
here
they
to
know.
say
It's just
to think. They
they're
just
just changed.
decided, like,
They're just changed.
they're like, no,
They're like,
we
we're
like
okay
it
with
here.
this. We're fine. We're fine. We like it.
It's insane. I used to just think it was like our parents' generation, because they actually experienced firsthand some of those, like, chains per
Yeah,
se.
they did.
From, like, they couldn't fight back, because every time they tried, they had someone knock them down. So I used to think, it was just that. But then I'm seeing that those parents, they raised us, right? And obviously they will only raise us with as much information and tools.
Knowledge that they have. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I stopped blaming the parents, and I was like, but us young people, bro, if you're 30, nobody's coming to save you. Like, you are definitely allowing it. If you keep blaming the parents and blaming, like, oh, slavery, that, like, colonialism, da 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 da, that's fine. But you're not ready to grow. You're not ready to
You're not.
actually step out of that shackles, because you're so comfortable at blaming someone else, pointing the fingers, anything but yourself as a grown adult. So yeah, I think politicians understand that strategy well enough, and they've been milking it. Just every year they're milking it, making it worse and worse. So I think these conversations would definitely help. So yeah, let's get into tech, because I'm also becoming a tech enthusiast these days, and I know I can't believe it. Um, I'm not I'm not transitioning from construction and architecture. I still love being an architect and being in construction, but I have been dabbling into tech, learning about cloud and all of that, and it's
Oh,
really
nice.
exciting. So yeah, I wanted to talk about that. But guys, please share this live on Facebook, share it on your WhatsApp groups, let people come and join this conversation, because in about 10 to 15 minutes we're going to start Q&A, and if there are no good questions, I will continue chatting with my girl. Okay, so yeah, let's get into it. Tech. How did that even
Transitioning, right?
happen? Yes.
It was no, it wasn't COVID actually.
Okay.
To be fair, I'm a very restless person, right? I'm very restless. I have
In a good way.
in a good way. I have plenty interest, right? And
Yeah.
I get bored easily, right? I want to do this, but then I get bored. I want to do this, I
Preaching to
get
the
bored.
choir, girl.
I have no, when I was sure I was going to leave radio, I said to myself, "Girl, you've done well," because I never knew I was going to spend. I spent a decade on radio, right? Because I never knew I was going to spend a decade on radio. Because I'm like, I wanted to leave so many times. The first time I ever left radio, I wanted to quit. I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I'm tired. Is it the
Yeah.
radio I wanted to do? Okay, I've done it. I'm tired.
Exactly.
I lost interest. And then the other one came, and then okay, fine, my interest peaked to the point, and I got tired at the point. I'm like, oh, I don't want to do radio again. I want to do something else. That was how my journey was. But somehow I was able to. I don't know how I sustained my interest in radio, because honestly speaking, I'd have left the first 4 years of radio. But
Wow.
somehow I stayed on, and I felt like that was good for me, because it
Mhm.
would have been bad if I had left at the point where I wasn't really so ready to leave the scene, right, and become a professional. Because we have a lot of half-baked people in professions, right? But I'm
Yes.
I'm not half-baked, because I gave my
Uh-uh.
all, and then
Girl.
I mean,
10 years?
I've got
10 years
yeah,
is
like
not something.
I've got a lot to show for that, right?
Exactly.
So I said I didn't want to be
Yeah.
half-baked. as much as my interest was, dwindling at a point, I said, I know I love this. This is like the only passion that I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know it was going to be up to 10 years. Then COVID came. Then it was when COVID came, I said I was going to leave radio. I'll tell you why. As a
Please.
broadcaster, if you're talking on TV or radio, you are first hand a part, you're in that problem, right? So COVID being a very mentally straining period that it was, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I was depressed and I didn't know it.
Yeah.
I would have to talk about the death. I would have to talk about the numbers. I would have to talk about the misery. Everything around COVID in 2020 was miserable.
Was
The
dark.
conspiracy theories,
Yes.
the facts, the lies, and all
The
of that. It
fiction,
was
yeah.
it was so yeah, the fiction. It was so much. So I said to myself, what kind of job is this? Why?
Yeah.
And I didn't have my shift did not change because I was doing the morning show. I was
Wow.
still doing the morning show. I still had to go to work, and
Yeah.
people were working from home. People were chilling. I would come back home every day, and I would not be able to function. I would not be able to sleep. I would have severe headaches, and that was because I was reading the news every day. I was talking about COVID every day. I was talking about the numbers. I would say Nigeria has 100 and something today, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about what the government was doing. We'll talk about how the world was received. It was too much for me. And then I
Wow.
said to myself, I would leave radio. It was COVID that made me decide. I made that decision, but I couldn't leave immediately because, after COVID, after the lockdowns
Yeah.
um, elapsed, we had to notice what was happening in the world. So
Mm-hmm.
I was just observing what was happening and all of that. Then in 2021, I said I had to take a diploma. I had to go back to school, take a diploma to transition because I believe in process. I'm someone who
Yes.
believes in process. I think if you want to do
Yes.
something, go through the right way. It will help
Exactly.
you instead of being
Yes.
half baked. Go to a school or get some
Mm-hmm.
very good certification to
Yeah.
help you. Don't just dabble into things like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah.
And so I got back into school. I got a diploma from All School Africa for 1 year.
Wow.
And in 2021, when I decided to go to All School in 2022, I had said once I was done with my diploma, I was going to resign. So I finished
Mm-hmm.
my diploma in 2023 and just gave myself extra months to, just get
Yeah.
myself ready. I didn't want to get into tech immediately. I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
be done with radio. I wanted to actually hit that 10
Like
year mark
cold turkey.
and
Yeah.
yes,
Just like
and
go.
then be done with radio. So
Yeah.
I already started 2023 with the mindset that I was leaving radio that year, and
Wow.
I did. So when I did, a lot of persons felt, oh, why did you leave? I had calls, and people were thinking I just made up the decision. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
well, it's 3 years coming,
Do
So
yeah,
that's
you've been
exactly why I
working on it.
transitioned, and now transitioning to tech. I have talked to a few of my friends who are in tech, and I'm like, oh, these are my skills. Like, what can I do?
Mm-hmm.
And so one of my friend was like, you should do product marketing. You should get into the
Wow.
marketing angle of tech.
Yeah.
You communicate well. You do research, right? So of course,
Mm-hmm.
he said you should be able to. You should from there and all of that. I'm like, okay, fine. I read up a lot about product marketing
Mm-hmm.
because at first I thought that you could only get into tech if you could code, but I
That
can't
was
code.
that was my thinking too, girl.
No, no,
That's
it's
something
not. It's not
I
true.
know, and
Not
I
true.
found out later that
No,
there are
yeah, you
so
could
many
do a lot.
non-coding. Yeah,
So non-coding, a
so
lot of
many.
non-coding profession.
Yeah.
So I felt that way, and so when I realized that there were many other things I could do, I actually settled for product marketing because my skills, my transferable skills,
Mm-hmm.
were going to be needed, as a product
Yeah.
marketer. So I said, okay, why not? So that's
Yeah.
exactly how I transitioned into tech. I got a diploma for 1 year, and when I was done, I got a job this year. I was actually resting. I didn't.
Congratulations! That's so cool.
Funny enough, when I left radio, I wanted to relax for like 3 to 6 months, not doing anything, just chilling,
Whoa.
traveling, and all of that. But I couldn't do that because I got a
Yeah.
job in January, the
Wow.
third week of January, and I had to start like 2 days later. So that's that's
That's
that's
awesome.
um that's how it's been.
That's
Just
so
transitioning and I'm
cool.
finding my feet, learning on the job, making mistakes. But I've also known that my skills, some of my skills from
Mm-hmm.
broadcasting, they've
Yes.
actually helped me now, and I'm
Yes.
seeing that. Oh, I think I made my choice, to transition
Exactly.
here. But one thing I also know is that I'm very open to anything, like
Yeah.
I told myself when I was about to resign last year, at the beginning of the year, I said, from now on, your life is actually going to take a non-linear trajectory, right? Whatever
Yes.
happens, right? You're
Yes.
going to work on your interests. You're going to get into the things that excite you. You're going
Literally
to
walking. I
explore.
think it's like walking in the path that God has given you because it's not straight, right? He
Yes,
just like he
exactly.
wants you to trust him, let him guide you with the skills he's given
Exactly.
you and the talent. So that's awesome.
Just navigate life. And I feel like that's what a lot of people should do. People
Yes,
are doing that, but that's what a lot of Akwa Ibom people should do.
should do.
Do not be afraid of moving from one particular profession to
Hmm.
another if
Yes.
you do have the interest. Now, because when I talk to a few Akwa Ibom people, some of them older friends, they put fear in me, but I'm very happy
Girl,
that
job
I already
security is a thing. It's another bondage that our people have. Job security.
they
Oh,
put fear in me, but because I'd made my decision already.
yes.
So when I was telling them was when I'd already put up
Right.
my
You were not
resignation
asking
letter,
for
right?
permission. You were just like, this is what I've
This
decided.
is
Not,
so like
yeah.
I've had one, a senior friend who's also was also in the media said,
Hmm.
"Are you sure you're not going through a midlife crisis?"
That's
like
insane.
okay, like how do you do that? How do you leave your profession? Even my friends, my very educated friends, could not
Yeah.
understand it. Rose, why are you leaving? You've put years into this. One was
Yeah.
using his profession as a lawyer and saying, "Look, I've put so years in this. Imagine me leaving." I said, "What is wrong with
What's wrong with
transitioning?
leaving? Like, yes,
What is wrong
imagine
with
you leave. What
leaving?"
is
I
what
said,
is wrong?
"No, I've built this life. I've done." I said, "Wow, this mentality is a problem. It is a
They built,
problem."
I think it's because they built this identity. It's like, oh, if I'm not a lawyer, what am I gonna be? Like, who
But
they're
that's the
so
thing.
scared.
We can be so many things. We can be
That's the
so
key.
many things.
That's the
I think
key.
that's like my message going forward. I
Yes.
get to talk to my friends and people, and they're like, "Rose, I don't know how you did it, but honestly speaking, I think I'm really inspired by the fact that you left radio and you're doing
Yes.
something else." I'm like, "Yeah," because the truth is, you have your whole life in front of you, right?
Do you
You
know?
have probably spent 5, 10, even 15, 20
So
years doing
what?
one thing.
Move
You don't
on.
have to die doing that
Do you
one
know?
thing.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
yeah, but what would I do? I said, what would you not do?
Do
You
you
can do
understand? Like
anything
you
and
literally have
everything.
a blank slate. Like do whatever you love doing. Like
Do you get?
explore.
Explore. That's like the word. Like explore. Because the truth is, I have come to the realization that no one was made to be just one thing, right?
Nope. Nope.
You do not have to stay on in a career for 40 years, 30 years, and just do that one thing for life. Who said that? That's like a lie that was sold to us.
That's a
And
lie.
besides, that was for that
Oh my gosh, that's
generation.
a
It's
lie. Let
not for
me.
our
I'm. Oh my.
generation.
I love you already because
Do you
this is.
get?
Because like another thing that I think Akwa Ibom people are, should I say, shackled with is religion. And I say religion instead of like studying the Bible for themselves, allowing the
Yeah.
Holy Spirit to actually transform the way they think, because that's what helped me. And what you said is so true. Who said to you that you should just be one thing and die on that? Why
Yeah.
is it that in the Bible? Because if you want to go through the Bible route, it's, many of us are very religious, so let me use that and maybe they will understand. Going through the Bible route, why did the Bible talk about having, this person having 5 talents and this person having two and this person having this and that? It literally shows you have multiple things within yourself you can
Hmm.
explore.
Yeah.
You just tying yourself down and saying, oh, this is the only thing I can do is a lie. And who is the
It
father of
is.
lies? Who
It
is the
is.
father of lies? The devil. Trying to make you think that you can only be this and no, you
Mhm.
no, trust God and explore who you are.
And it
That's
actually boils
crazy.
down to fear, right? A lot of people are
Yes.
afraid. So fear says, "Oh, if you do this thing, what
Yeah.
if?
Yes.
What if it doesn't work
The
out for
future.
you?"
Yeah, exactly.
Um, and so what if it doesn't
So
work
what
out? You
if
pick yourself up, you try
but
again.
what if it does? Because on the other side
What
of the
if it
fear is
does?
what
You
if it
get?
does work out?
Like, I was talking to a friend recently, and this same whole issue of, oh, I'm not sure, but I want to leave this career. I'm not sure. I'm like, what is holding? What exactly are you afraid of? She's like,
Address
well,
the
I
fear.
put in years into this, and I said, but I
Yeah.
put in years into my radio broadcasting. I don't have regrets. I enjoyed my years. I enjoyed
Mm-hmm.
radio so much, but
Yes.
now I knew that I had to do something else, and this is me doing something else. I'm also going to enjoy this new thing. She's like, but I don't
Exactly.
know how I'm going to start. And like, how did I start?
You start
How did
by
I start?
baby
Start
steps.
by
No,
starting.
it's like
You just start. How do you learn how to walk? Babies, how do they learn how to walk? They have to
this,
take the first step. You
and then
can't learn how to walk if you don't take the first step,
you
right? So
understand.
the whole fear of what would I do? I'm not sure I can do something else. I'm like, but you have so much inside of you. You're not, look, you have your 70, 80, 90, we're going to die, right? So are you
Right.
saying that if you're 30 already or 30 plus, we're going to live the remaining 30 plus or 40 years in misery?
Do you?
Is that what your life
That's
wants to be
insane.
like?
That's insane. Yeah.
A lot of people
That's
need to wake up, and a lot of Akwa Ibom people, young people, need to see that. So when I get the opportunity to talk with them, and I'm glad that a lot of them try to talk with me on social media and
mm-hmm.
all of that, and I tell them, look, if you have to leave Uyo to make it work, leave Uyo.
Leave.
If you
Relocate.
have to
Move.
relocate, if you have to, switch careers, switch. If you have to learn on the job doing something, learn.
Learn.
I think 2 years ago or last year, I think it was last year, I was trying to get some young people into journalism. I have
Mm.
some friends, big friends, and
Yes.
and he wanted me to help him get some interns, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
tried my best. I put it up on Facebook, I put it up on Twitter, and I tried, and we couldn't get one person, one quite young person, who had what was necessary to learn journalism.
Yeah.
And I felt bad. You know why I felt bad? Radio. I see a lot of students at the University of Uyo.
Mm-hmm.
If these guys knew what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see one, the passion, neither did I see a lot of them who were smart enough to know that, oh, this is an internship position. I have to
Exactly.
learn. I have to, if this is what I want to
I
do, I
need
have to
to
learn
grow,
it.
ask questions, and grow.
Ask questions, be inquisitive, want to know more. And so my senior friend was telling me that he felt so disappointed that all the people that he interviewed, and then he finally got one person. He says, I have a problem with the Akwa young people. They don't want to
Yeah.
learn. So it's like they
Exactly.
want they want maybe the fast money, or they want it, they want success but don't want to go through, the necessary stages to achieve that. And
Yes.
I said, well, I'm not surprised because I've seen that on radio too, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like I think I said earlier that I love processes. I love
Mm-hmm.
processes because
Yes.
when you go through processes, you're more experienced, you know more, right?
Absolutely.
It
Yes.
makes you a well-grounded person. So
Yes.
you're not half-baked. You're not cut and
Exactly.
joined. You
Exactly.
really know your stuff, right? You stand
Absolutely.
anywhere and speak or do what you have to do, and you have confidence that you know your job, right? You
Yes.
get so, and I feel like a lot
Study
of,
to show
I think it was
yourself
a quite a
approved.
people. You get, I just feel like a lot of young people that I have seen in Akwa Ibom are not ready to truly be
Put in the work.
well grounded in,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is they want to do,
Yeah.
determined to, whatever it is, just be grounded in the basics, be
Mm-hmm.
well rounded.
It's
But if
really
you
the
want to do
basics.
cut and
What you're
join,
saying,
it's a
yeah,
problem.
you can't do cut and join.
You
It's just like
can.
it's honestly, it baffles me because I'm like, that is exactly how nature works. This is exactly how the human body works. If you were, I mean, once you were a child, right, you had to grow. You can't just go from being 5 years to 25. Like it's not, and skipping the whole process of 20
The
years.
whole
Like you
process.
can't. And it baffles me how people don't see, like, God is so good. He's been amazing to us that He literally shows us everything around us to show us that He enjoys processes, seasons, time. These things take
Yes.
time. Your mom carried you for 9 months for a reason. She could have just spew you out,
Do you
right,
get?
like 3 days later. But no, you plant, you wait for the crop to grow. Like
Yeah.
these things happen, they take processes to grow and mature
Mhm.
so they are not half baked, like you said. And it baffles me that they don't apply that to themselves. They're like, oh yeah,
They don't.
fast money. Yeah, the fast money you're getting is also going to fast leave you. Do you not
Yeah.
know? Like, it's insane.
And
And
I
I,
feel
yeah,
like if we have and I see this when I talked about processes, I see it in many areas living in a Ibom, even in service, the way they
yes,
serve, the way they do things, the workmen, you get a craftsman to do something for you. There's no excellence per se. I think it's also a Nigerian thing though,
it
there's no
is.
excellence. And sometimes I wonder, how did this person learn this job? Like, was it in 2 days? Like, this is not 2 minutes noodles that you
It's,
cook. This is
yes.
something that needs you to you have to hone your skills, right? You have
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that you're very good at it. But then
Yes.
it's like a lot of people just want to jump the gun and not go through the process. So that's one thing I think Akwa Ibom youth should learn. Go
Yeah.
through processes. It helps
Yes.
you. It is for your own good.
It's
You
for
might
your own.
actually think that, oh, there's a lot of work. It's so tedious, but the processes would help you.
Think of
You'll
the
be happy
future.
that you
Like,
did.
think of when you now become an expert in this topic or subject. Like, you'll be sought after. I mean, worldwide.
Exactly,
You
right?
literally will be sought
Exactly.
after. What? Like, there is no restriction. And I think what you said is so true because I think, and what this is what me, myself, and the NGO that we've started in Akwa Ibom to do this exact same work, especially in the rural areas where they don't have these conversations, they don't hear people talk about handy
Mhm.
skills and think other options outside of working for the government. It's like, what else
Yeah.
can I be apart from being a teacher, a nurse, and I don't know, yeah, working for the civil service, which is fine, but it's like, is that really like, I think people do not demand more standards for themselves. Like, don't even just ignore the rest of the world. Think for yourself. For myself, like, if I'm doing something, I want excellence out of that thing. Like, I want someone to look at it and say, yes, she did that and she did that really well, And I want to look back at the thing and be proud of myself. So I don't think a lot of young Aquariumites per se are looking at it that way. They almost do it like it's a nice service. Oh, let me just do it. Like, oh, and they're
Yeah.
not thinking as, if I was the client, if I was the person I'm serving, how would I want to feel? Like
Exactly.
how would this product make this person feel? Like, you buy
Yeah.
certain things and you go, yeah, these people did not even think about me as the client
Mhm.
paying my money for this. But I think if more people demanded more accountability from themselves, or they demanded more higher standards for themselves, even just the way you interact with, I don't know, market people or anyone outside, just demand more for yourself. Just ignore the rest of the world and what, if every other person wants mediocrity, good for them. But you demand more for yourself and you will get it. That's the beauty, like the beautiful part. You will get
Yeah.
the higher standards that you're asking for, it will come to you. So,
I can.
this is so good. Yeah,
So it's
this
almost
is.
1 hour though.
I
Crazy. This is like
know, I
52 minutes.
know.
When did we start?
Girl, it feels like we've not even scratched the surface. I enjoy talking
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah, I feel like just to add, I mean, before you maybe ask questions or
Yes,
so, let me just tie this back to the government since I'm talking about transitioning to tech and all of that. Now
yes.
I work remotely, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I don't stay in Rio as much as I used to stay, right? Because I
Right.
have a flexible job. So
Exactly.
in and out and all of that. And I say to myself, most times when I'm in Lagos, that's I stay in Lagos or Abuja
Mm-hmm.
and all of that. And I say to myself, a lot of my friends who are in these very busy cities, when we talk, they say, you know what, I want somewhere else, somewhere outside
Yeah.
Lagos,
Yeah.
to stay. Recently, I had a friend who was in Rio, and he said, wow, that the only reason he's not going to stay in Rio, he's also working remotely. He says,
Mm-hmm.
the only reason I'm not going to stay in Rio, as much as I love you, is the fact that there are not many places for me to enjoy, right? Like the
Yes.
recreational part of Lagos, we don't have it here.
Mm-hmm.
And I said,
Yes.
yeah, it's a small town, it's budding, and we're getting there and all of that.
Yeah.
That was just to save face. But the truth
Mm-hmm.
is, I wish right now that the state governments would capitalize on making Akwa Ibom, some kind of remote haven. A lot of people who are working remotely,
Would
want some kind of
love.
sanity, especially people who are working in Lagos, right? They
Yes.
want sanity. And because younger people are getting remote jobs, they can decide to live anywhere and work. Now, what do you need to live anywhere and work? You just need good power, you need
Mm-hmm.
peace, you need some kind of good accommodation, you just need a very enabling environment.
And we have peace
And
in Akwa
Akwa
Ibom.
Ibom
It's
has
like
that.
we have peace
We
in Akwa
have
Ibom. We
it.
have power. We have.
We
Oh my.
have it. So every time I come back home, I mean, when I'm back from my, staying in Lagos or Abuja, and I come
Yeah.
back and I'm like, why is it that the government has not decided to make this state a tech heaven? But because the truth is, we have so many amazing tech guys, right, from Akwa Ibom.
Yes.
We
Yes.
have the guys at the rooftop. Those guys have been doing that for years, and they've been positioning so well. And I ask myself, why is this government not saying it? Why
Yeah.
is this government not making
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
I can stay here? There's power because what do we want as Nigerians?
Exactly.
Nigerians are very easy to please. We want the basic
We
things.
literally just
We just
want
want
power.
we
I
just want good
promise you.
infrastructure. We want power. Do you get? We want power. We want good connectivity. We want sanity, and Akwa Ibom has that. Why can't we work on that? So I wish
Capitalize
that the
on that.
state government would see that in this time, a lot of Nigerians may want to japa, the young
Yes.
ones, but
Yes.
we all cannot japa. So they are looking at the next available option. Where can I
Exactly.
go to
That is
live for a
peaceful.
while? Maybe I maybe save up some money and
Mm-hmm.
leave the country
Yeah.
if I still want to.
Yeah.
Uyo actually is that place,
It
right?
is.
Akwa Ibom has that. But
Yes.
we need to have the government support the tech industry
Yes.
in the states. We need to start having, like remote spaces where people can work for just maybe 1,000 naira a day
Mm-hmm.
with good lights, good network, and that should come from the government trying to attract people from every other place, right?
Yeah.
And then when they do that, they also need to see that they need to prime the recreational centers. I
Yes.
need the commissioner for culture to do more.
I really
We
do
need
because
so much more.
all these tech people you're talking about, and I don't know why they're not seeing that. Do they not realize that every time a person comes to lodge in Uyo, they're spending their money in the States?
Can I go to stay? And there are no places. I look
It's
every
sad.
time I'm in New York, I like to flex. I like to go to places, but I tell
Exactly.
you that I've basically gone to everywhere in this New York. There's nowhere else to
I
go to.
I believe
Like there's
you.
nowhere
Don't
else to go
understand. It's
to.
actually insane. And the fact that
It
we have,
is.
girl, I live in the US now, and I cannot tell you like how much I miss home food. Like we have, whew, and Nigerians don't even realize. It's like when you leave Nigeria that you go, we have a lot of
Yes.
good food. Like we have a lot of good
Yes.
food, good fruits, like all kinds of combinations of things. We have lots of fun games, like things that literally bring communities together. Culture, dance, like what singing, like Aqua actually love having
We
fun.
do. We have everything. So I don't I
That's
just
crazy.
hope. I really hope. I hope that the government would see the vision and see that if I can actually work in my states and
Yeah.
bring these people in, these things they're bringing in would attract businesses. Instead of the government trying to get, a 21 story or 18 story in Lagos,
I
you
knew that
would
was
drive
coming.
the investment in the
I
States.
knew
There's
that
no
would
way I will
happen.
not mention that.
I knew that.
There is no
I
way
was
I would
like,
not
yes,
mention
no,
that.
seriously, it's because it makes
Because
no
if
sense.
if 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 the government does this, I mean, I see it on Twitter a lot. I see a lot of people on Twitter asking, "Where's the next best place to stay apart from Lagos or Abuja?"
Yeah,
And I see
exactly.
when I read comments, I see
It's
people
always
say
Akwa
Akwa
Ibom.
Ibom.
It's always
People
Akwa
say
Ibom.
Akwa Ibom. Why are we not capitalizing on
It's always
this?
Akwa Ibom. Yeah.
We have everything that we need. We just need the government to be visionary to
Yes.
see that if we drive these people into Akwa Ibom, it will drive investment in Akwa Ibom. The reason
Absolutely.
maybe some of these recreational places are not here because you ask yourself, how much do the people have? What is
How
the
much are they
purchasing
earning? Do
power?
you?
What and how much are they earning? So can they really get? I go to some. I think some time ago last year I put up the post and I said these are places you could have fun. Some restaurants and the budget's about 10 to 15K. And a lot of people were like, that's expensive because for them their
It
normal
is
form of food should be 2,000, 3,000 naira.
exactly.
But then there are people who are willing to spend 20, 50, 100, 200 if
Yes,
the place is
is
nice enough
premium.
for them. So
Seriously,
why
just
can't we have it in the Bible?
it's
So I mean, I
insane.
just need the government to begin to see that if the government can attract people, you would attract businesses. The
You will
reason Lagos is because Lagos has the numbers. That's why they have
exactly,
the businesses that they have. So when you
exactly.
attract the people from everywhere in the country, you would have the
You will have
businesses because
businesses.
these same people will bring businesses. These
Mm-hmm.
same people would help, facilitate the growth of the state.
Absolutely,
I just
absolutely.
need. I honestly wish that the government would be visionary and see that we have what it takes to be the next maybe Silicon Hub in the US or something.
No, we do.
We just have it.
We actually do have that that capability right now. Everything you've said is spot on. And I know you say the government, but really it's really it's really the guy at the top that needs to be visionary. Like it's really that man. That's why it's so crucial, right? That we are careful as to who we vote in because yes, like it's okay you want to support your party, it's okay you want to support your local government's relative that wants to become governor. That's fine and all. But think for yourself, what else is he going to do that will enable the people around you to be independent?
Yeah.
Obviously, except if you are a narcissist and you just enjoy your own flesh and blood worshiping you like you're the fucking devil. Except you're that, evil that you don't want any other person to progress around. You just want them to worship, beg, sab, please now, I beg every time. If that's what you enjoy as a human being,
Yeah.
okay, good for you. But the people we're talking to right now, I think is sorry, we're talking to the people who are ready to uplift the people around them, because I think that's also something I enjoy doing very much. Because yes, the government can do a lot to help us, but like we've just talked about, Akwa Ibom people are somehow not ready to put in the work for themselves.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that sometimes it really is 3 months of work, 6 months of work,
Yeah.
a year of work, which you are already wasting away
Yeah.
instead of just looking for something that you can channel all of that time into, that in a year from now you're employing people. Like, do you not want to say, hey, it's because of me that family is thriving? So I think it's insane, and that the
Well, I
government is
think it's
not
going to
taking
be a
advantage
very.
of it.
I think it's going to be a very long journey.
Yeah.
Getting our people to see, and when I mean getting our people, I mean everyone,
Yes.
politicians, people. But first, the people must wake up because when the people wake
Yes.
up, we would
Yes.
force the politicians to wake up. As it is
Absolutely.
right now, we just have a fraction of Akwa Ibom people who are demanding for change,
Yes.
demanding better, right?
Yes.
But we need a greater half. If we're 7 million people in the states, we
Hmm.
need 6.5 million of us to say
I mean, I feel
enough
like
is enough.
even 5 million would be pretty good. Five
Do you
million
get?
would
We
be
need we
pretty
need
good.
everyone to wake up to say
Yeah.
we can do this. We can make our states great. We can invest in our states. We can
Yes.
we can have great minds everywhere. We can bring back
Absolutely.
all our brilliant brothers and sisters across the world
They will
to
come
build the
back, bro.
states.
We will
They
all
will
come
come
back.
back if we're
Seriously.
offering them something. They will come back if there's power. They will come back if there are companies. They will come back if there are recreational centers. They will come back if we have broken that chain of being so religious that we don't even know God for ourselves, right?
We
We need them to see that. And there's a lot of work that has to be done. Our mentality has to change. We have to ask questions. We have to demand accountability. We need
yes,
to put in the work ourselves. We need to say
absolutely.
to ourselves, we cannot remain small. We can't, keep doing this. It took
It took
syndrome.
syndrome.
We can't keep getting crumbs from the politicians and thinking that
Yeah.
that's enough, right?
Yeah.
Because the
Yeah.
reason we are where we are today, definitely because of the politicians. Akwa Ibom
Absolutely.
should be more than this. If you look at
It
exactly
pains
what
me.
we have
It
as
pains
in
me.
terms of our federal allocation, we're so
Mm-hmm.
wealthy, but it's not
Yes.
translating.
It's
So we need
not.
the government to start seeing how can we help our young people. A lot of, and the truth is, to be fair, a lot of Akwa Ibom people are brilliant, right? They have so
Very.
much they can do, but they don't also have the support, right?
And then
And
exactly, and
when
then
they don't
yeah,
have when they don't have the support, they sit back and say, well, what's the worst that I can do? I can't do anything. Nobody's supporting me, nobody's helping me out. Let me
exactly,
just settle for whatever it is I can get, a
exactly.
20,000 naira job, a 30,000 naira job. But no, they can actually do more, but they don't have the
Yeah,
support. So if
yeah,
we begin to get our people primed towards seeing that they can actually do more with the
yes,
help of government, without the help of the government, with
yes,
and without, because I
yes.
believe in getting the government involved and
I
also
do
believing that
too.
we have to do our part, right? So
Yes.
if we can't get people to see that, we're going to be the next best thing since the invention of ice cream. Like
I'm
seriously, like we just
seriously.
need to wake up. We just need to wake up.
Yeah,
We
and
just need to wake up.
I think with the caliber of the conversations that I'm hearing, because I've only recently started taking Twitter X seriously, and before now, I mean, I was on social media, but I was really just on social media for myself. I'm not even going to lie, like I wasn't trying to have these conversations, but I was just like doing my little influencing jobs on Instagram and looking cute in little outfits. That was me, right? I wasn't interested seriously. But then as I grew older and as I completed, because I had school that was distracting me, I had other things I was doing that was distracting me. But as I'm talking to my friends and family back home, and the way the country is just going, I'm like, no, these conversations need to change. And I honestly started not blaming myself, but seeing that I may be part of the problem for not even starting these conversations with my own circle, right? Because I think charity definitely begins at home, right? You need to be willing to look your cousin in the eye and say, no witch is after you. You're just lazy.
Yeah.
You need to be able to tell someone, obviously with love, holding their hands. You need to be able to tell them and say,
Sometimes
hey,
without love, it doesn't mean anything. Be hard on them sometimes.
do you understand? Because they need to see that nobody's
They
coming to
need
save you.
to.
Literally, nobody's
Yeah.
coming. Like,
Yeah.
you can blame all you want, but nobody's coming to save you. And
Yeah.
I think, yeah, as we keep having these conversations, I'm hopeful that in the near future I can have on a psychologist, an Akwa Ibom psychologist here to talk to us a little bit about just mental health and how that is also a problem. Because I think many times
Or is
instead
it
of
is it today, May?
yes, Udema Kana, Dr. Udema, I would love to have him on. So I'm hoping that we talk about these things because I grew up my first like formative years. I grew up in the village. I grew up in Ibiana, right? But when we moved to Uyo, I was like, oh shit. So my family is actually poor. Because growing up in the village, I had access to all kinds of food. We had farmlands. We had like I enjoyed my childhood. I had great sets of friends. I was seeing my grandparents every day. My granddad taught me how to drink pami. So it was like I had a wonderful childhood and I understood and saw the love that we had in our community. But as we left, we moved to the city and eventually I left Nigeria. I started to see how that community was disintegrating. There was a lot more fear instead of love. There was a lot more accusing someone or blaming someone for no rational reason other than your mind is playing games with you and telling you that someone else is powerful enough to be the cause of your own downfall. Bro, are you mad? You are actually allowing, you're the one, it's all in your mind, and you're allowing that to cripple you because yeah, sure, people will try whatever they want to try, but at the end of the day, like everything else, it boils down to how you react to it. Boils down to, is that thing crippling you? Is the fear crippling you from making any moves? Is it crippling you from learning, asking questions, questioning the norm, saying, hey, this hasn't worked for nobody. It hasn't worked for my great grandparents, not my grandparents, not even my parents. It's not working. Let's stop this thing. And
Yeah.
reading the Bible for yourself is going to really open a lot of people's eyes because you even see how many times Jesus had to break tradition in order to save the human being. Like,
Yeah.
don't follow traditions and fall into the pit just because, oh, I
Yeah.
don't want my village people say. What will your village people say? Your village people are always talking anyway. So, like,
Yes.
what would they not say?
They're
Jesus.
always
Yeah,
talking.
like, so, anyway, I'm so happy that you came on here, and
Yeah.
let's see if we're going to have some questions. I think a lot of people are just enjoying the conversation, and there are no questions.
Yeah.
Everyone is complimenting the Rose Akai, and I'm loving it. I'm loving
I
it. So
really don't grant interviews. I can count the number of interviews I've granted. I think
that's
just about
I'm
5 or 6.
honored. Thank you so
I'm like,
much.
you're just, I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. But hey, I think I'll just start talking right now.
Yeah, I think we should talk more. And
Yeah.
I was just following your page on Facebook. I recently rejoined Facebook because Mark Zuckerberg decided that it was okay. He kicked me out the first time, but he's allowed me back. So I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful to again rebuild my
Yeah.
brand, and but this time I'm being very deliberate in the type of conversations I want to have, and I'm really
Yeah.
focusing on really my people. And that that sometimes is always misconstrued to mean, oh, you're a tribalist or whatever. But I think if we all focused on loving our tribes and ourselves so much, that love will literally just be able to extend to other tribes and other people. I'm
Yes.
not saying hate anyone else. I'm saying love yourself so much that the growth in you is visible to everyone. Like, let our Bible might be great, then
Yeah.
we'll be able to love
It's
other people.
that's the truth. But what we do right now, and I think I agree with a lot of persons who say that, is that it's like we love others more than we love our own people.
We
Which is
suspect ourselves way like for no
it's just
reason.
crazy. It is. It's crazy. But as you rightly said, I hope that we get to the point where when we talk about acquiring people, we're not talking the Tuk syndrome. We're not talking people who are comfortable with just playing small.
Yes.
There's nothing actually wrong in playing small. I think that that's something that's like a conversation for another day, right?
Yes,
It might
yes,
be good
yes.
in a way. There's nothing wrong. So we don't, because a lot of people might feel like I don't want to be a high achiever. That's okay, right?
Right.
But
You
we're
can
just
start
saying
small. It's okay.
yeah, it's
It's
okay, right?
okay.
It's okay. It's okay. And also the fact that we have acquiring people who, when they think of opportunities or their openings wherever they are, they're
Hmm.
saying my brother or my sister, but not because the person is my brother or sister, but because the person is actually qualified, right? So
Exactly.
even when we're looking at helping ourselves, we have to look
Yes.
at the fact that this person is my brother, but this
But
person
are
is
you
qualified
qualified?
for this job.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
not that, oh, I'm just giving the person a job,
Yeah.
nepotism and all of that. No,
Yeah.
yeah, this person is my brother, but this person is fine. I
But
think
this
that
person
that's
is also
that's that's
qualified.
something that we all need to do as Nigerians, because
Yes.
Nigerians, we're messed up in this country, right? We don't believe in
Yeah.
meritocracy. We believe in
Yeah. Who do
nepotism.
you know? Who do you
Who
know?
do you
And
know? Where's this person from, right?
yeah.
But if we go past that to saying, because I believe that in every tribe, region, they're qualified acquiring people, right?
Hmm.
They're qualified people in Akwa Ibom. And
Yes.
so if there's an
Yes.
opening, why not
Yes.
why not Akwa Ibom first? If this person is
Absolutely.
qualified, there's
Thank
nothing
you.
wrong
And
there,
quite
right?
on first, there's
If this
nothing
person is
wrong.
qualified,
Yes.
then put the person there, and let it
Absolutely.
be a very open and transparent maybe form of job interview or whatever, that
Yeah.
based on your qualifications you will get this job, right? So
Yeah.
I think that we have to get to that point, and to get more people to be qualified,
Hmm.
everyone has to jump on the train. The government has to jump
Exactly.
on the train of saying, we need to train people.
Train more
As
people.
individuals, we need to think, how can I help one
Hmm.
person? How can I help
Exactly.
two people? How can
Yeah.
I just help people in a way, right?
Exactly.
How can I help people? And also, we need to see that acquiring people are willing to learn.
We are. We are. No, some of us are really willing to learn, and I love all the things you've mentioned because I think even the problem also is with the people that are constantly giving fish. And I mean, they're not doing that like they're desperately wanting the people they're helping to be independent for
Yes.
themselves, but you're also constantly giving them, oh, but 5K, but
Yeah.
10K. Why not say, instead of giving you this 5K, I'm going to sign you up, register you for a tech course, go and learn. This will actually liberate you more than the like. If you're getting 5K from
And
me
then,
right now, imagine
yeah.
earning 500K for yourself.
Do you get? And then you must finish that course.
Obviously,
You must
obviously,
finish
you
it. Go through it.
go.
Finish it. I was talking to a girl. No, she's not from Akwa Ibom though, but a younger friend, and she's going through a course that I went through, and
Mhm.
she's like, she wants to give up. She's tired. I said, you will finish this
You'll
thing.
finish
You
your
must
you,
finish. She's like, what are you saying? You have to
like
graduate with your peers, And
yes,
we need to get to the point where we say, when you put your hand on the plow, I think the scripture says that, don't look back. You have to
absolutely.
finish it. You have to
Yes,
finish it. And, just open yourself up to the fact that if I finish this, I'm going to get better. I'm going to be a better
absolutely.
person.
But it's always
I'm going to
that's
know
the
so,
truth though. That's the
that's
truth.
it.
Anything
That's
else
it.
is actually a lie. If someone tells you, oh, if you go through, like I learned how to make beats. I mean, I learned how to make hats right after secondary school because that period where secondary school to writing jam,
Yeah.
I was like, I told my mom I don't want to sit at home. I do, I don't mind is the devil's workshop. I really believed in
Yeah.
that as a child, and my mom signed me up to this little shop that it was barely able to fit five people. What we were all in there. I was learning. I was doing other things for them, but I was learning. And honestly, I always knew that if I did not like, I ended up leaving Nigeria, which was okay, yay for me. But even if I was to stay in Nigeria, I know for a fact that I would not be well, like the 5K. I would not be that
Yeah.
person because I know exactly when God said, "I will bless the works of your hands." He wasn't joking, bro. Like he was like
He wasn't. Yeah.
he wasn't joking. He wasn't
Just do
playing
something.
around. Just
Yeah.
do something. Oh, I love you. Okay,
Honestly.
so we're going to allow people to ask questions, if any, or just keep sending compliments. My manager says, thank you very much. We're honored that you are here. He's the one who set this whole thing up, and I'm so happy that he was able to join
I
us.
had a great time.
Yes,
It was
girl.
fun.
Yay. I can't wait to have you back, seriously.
Yes,
Um,
I definitely love to be here.
Yes, yes, yes. So
So do you
thank
have
you so
questions?
much. No questions for now, but we'll just give people maybe let's say 5 to 10 minutes and see. Otherwise, let's talk about your outfit, girl. Let's talk about who is the designer of this
Oh
outfit.
my god! I bought this outfit from, I think, on Twitter. I bought the fabric. One of
Yeah,
I can't remember her name, but she's an Akwa Ibom girl. And I
nice.
just saw the fabric. I'm like, oh my god, I love this. And so I got the fabric, and I got an Akwa Ibom girl to make it for me. So
That's
I'm like, I'm really
awesome. No, it looks
I,
good.
I,
It
I
looks
I love to
good.
patronize people. I love to
Yeah.
patronize my people. I love to
Yes.
see. I don't know. I don't think I can be giving them money, but I can patronize you. Like,
But
what are
that's
you
the same
doing? What
thing,
are you
though. That's the
selling?
same thing. What are you selling?
Yeah.
Let me buy your product and support
Yeah, let me
you.
buy. What are you
Yeah.
doing? How can I can't give you money, but how can I help you? Can I give you a book, or can I
Mm-hmm.
introduce you to someone, or can I just,
Exactly.
have a 5 minutes call with you, or can I have maybe like a training with you?
Yes.
I That's all. Like, it's just a
Yeah.
way to just
I think
help
also
people.
more people need to realize if you actually have a product, if your product is solving a problem, like you don't have to do too much. The people who have the problem will come, they will find you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They
That's
will
it. They
find
they'll
you.
definitely look for you. They will
Yeah.
find you. They
And
will find you.
the people like I've been speaking with Akwa Ibom entrepreneurs and because I'm part of a team of people who have launched this. Well, we're going to launch soon. There's this wait list for small businesses in Nigeria. If you're a small business producing Nigerian made products,
Yes.
just all you have to do is answer 14 questions and you actually have a great chance of having your brand as a small brand regardless of how tiny it is, as long as you know how to package your product properly and your product is great quality, you'll be able to sell your product on this website, which will help
Oh, that's
you.
nice.
Yeah, which will help you expand and employ our young people who are
Yeah, it's
desperate
really
for
nice.
mentors. So I'm really excited for these conversations, and hopefully, one of these days I'll have the CEO of the company to come on here and talk to us more about that because I think it's
Yeah.
something that many Aqua brands will benefit from. being able to get more visibility and having that support so they can focus on production. Because sometimes you're thinking, oh, marketing, or how can I get to my I think of so many other things that you forget the quality of the product is actually the main king.
Yeah.
So it will enable many small businesses. I'm hoping that Akwa Ibomites can take advantage of this, because this will help Akwa Ibom so much, right?
Oh, that's a great idea. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
really
you
good.
so much. There is a lot. I'm really happy. Like I said, there's so many people that I've met recently, and they're doing, like, honestly wonderful things that in the next 3 to 5 years, politicians will be wondering why they did not invest in Akwa Ibom young people. They will actually see a lot of their peers saying, Oga, I beg, carry your own, they go. Do you understand? Like,
We need to get to that point. We need to get to the
I
point
can't
where
wait.
there will be scarcity of young
Oh,
people working for politicians who are
yes,
not forward thinking. I don't have a problem with working for politicians, but I do have a problem working for politicians who are not forward thinking, right?
yes,
You could
yes,
actually work for politicians who mean well for the people.
yes,
But
yes.
once they are the norm, once they are the normal, why are you
Yeah.
working
What
with
are you
them? Just
benefiting
go
from
apply
this
it somewhere
person?
else. Yeah. Because
Exactly.
the truth is, we need young people in these spaces, right?
We do.
We need them in politics. We
Yes.
young people, we have to be in politics. It's
Absolutely.
just that Nigeria's political scene is messed up, so messed up, so that the only things we have, are the crumbs, SAPAs, and all of
Yes.
that. And even when we're
Yes.
now made ministers, just recently the minister for the young minister, what's his name? Minister for, I can't remember, but
Uh-huh.
Bosun. His name is
Okay.
Bosu
Uh-huh.
Tijani, the
Yes, yes,
Yoruba
yes.
guy. That guy's such a brilliant tech
Yeah.
guy. But because he is working for a government that seems not to have a vision. Look at the problem. Look at it, right? So if young people keep working for politicians who are the normal Nigerian politicians, there's a problem.
Yes.
But
Yes.
when young people work for upward thinking, visionary,
Yes.
brilliant politicians, then there's no problem.
Yes.
Because we need the ideas, like
Absolutely.
to move the country forward.
Absolutely.
That's just how I
Yeah.
see it. So
Yeah.
if the politician is not worth it, please don't work for the politician.
Exactly.
If
Just
the
no.
politician is worth it,
Yeah. And
that's
I
it.
think
That's how it is.
it would not hurt, because again, if you're a young person and you read or even watch just seminars or whatever about leadership, you will understand quickly if this person that is your leader, if it's someone
Yeah.
that you should be listening to, or if they have any interest in your growth. Like, what are they telling you? Are they like making sure that you can't think for yourself, or your ideas are like thumbs
Exactly.
out? Like, you have to think about those things. Don't look down on yourself and say, oh, I'm young, maybe I don't know. Because that's another thing that the bad politicians are doing. They're like, oh, you're young, you don't know anything. Bro, you're old. Why?
Yes.
You still don't know nothing. Like, no. So I
The old
think
people in Nigeria, many of them, they're not as wise as they should be. How politicians?
many of them actually have mental health problems that have gone undiagnosed, because stress actually induces mental health issues, and a lot of them have gone
No. Actually,
untreated.
not just them, but many Nigerians have.
Because
Many of
of the
us.
stress that they politicians are putting on. Like, it's like, imagine like the madman talking about.
Not a mental disorder. If it's not a mental disorder, why are we supporting useless
Also, is it not
politicians?
mental health? Is it not mental disorder that will make a full-grown man to open their mouth and say that disgruntled Nigerians should go and protest, while the wicked ones keep eating our future? Is that not madness?
It's a mental
Is that not like,
disorder.
this person should literally be? And then I'm sure the people listening know the person. This person should literally be in a mental health issue, being like taking
Yes.
drugs to calm down, because
Do
a
you
normal
get?
person doesn't think like that for a progressive like society.
It's a problem. It's a
And people are
problem.
worshiping and saying, oh, but it's our brother. Your brother is stealing your child's future. Keep supporting your brother. It's insane. Oh, welcome, Ukeme. We have Leisure Demand. That's my manager, but I don't know why he goes by that name. But I call him Choco Marisa. He'll be fine. And then I have my friend here, Aidi Tebong, and Underground Vibes, and we have Kingsley Kanem, DJ. Thank you guys, Kemi, like KY KY Designs by Kemi. That's actually my sister. Thanks, sis,
Oh,
for hanging
nice.
with us. Yes. Thank you for hanging with us. Oh, I hope you have any questions, but if you don't, that's fine. You'll just come back another day and hang out with us some more. So let's see. I think there are no questions for now, and I don't want to keep you any longer because you've already given me too much of your
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you so much. Just say your
I've had a great time.
final words to
Um,
young Akwa Ibomites, men and women. Or maybe touch a little
all
bit
right,
more on the
so my final words would be never be afraid to start over, never be afraid to take that step, never be afraid to ask for accountability from the government. I think more of us should start doing that.
yes.
Never be afraid to put yourself out there. Never
Mhm.
be afraid to learn. Never
Yes.
be afraid to learn. That's something I'm very passionate about. People need to
Yes.
learn, and you need to learn well, right?
Yes.
And what else? And don't be afraid of the future. Whatever would happen, right? Enjoy the ride. Just
Absolutely.
enjoy
Just
the
enjoy.
ride. Like
Yes.
a lot of people have to enjoy the ride. Just sorry, my light went
Absolutely.
off. Just
Oh, it's
enjoy
perfect
the ride.
timing.
So thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope
Yes.
that I know that this will inspire a lot of young people. And again, you guys can always find this video right under my channel on that live. And if you go through the playlist, you'll see live sessions and you'll be able to listen to this conversation. I'll be sharing it more on my social media as well, so people who were not able to join us can connect. And that's the tech babe right there. Okay.
Yeah.
She visually like it back on. I love it. So yeah, so as you can see, the government has nothing on my babes because she's now in tech independence. So
You
get into
get.
it. I love it. But thank you so much, Rose.
Thank you for
Thank
having me.
you. Thank you.
I
And I
had an
hope you
amazing time. So we should do it some other time. I mean, let's see how it
absolutely.
goes.
Yes,
Maybe
yes,
if I
yes.
decide to do anything on my Facebook Live, we should go on live together.
I would love it.
I'll think about it.
I heard many young Akwa Ibomites are on Facebook, and
Oh yeah,
like
that's the
they're
thing. We
more
have
on
a lot of
Facebook.
them on Facebook. More on Facebook. That's like their
Mhm.
preferred social media platform.
Okay,
So if we're trying to push something, I think that Facebook is a good way for
so
good place for that to
that's
push.
where the lies are. That's where we need to go and insert the truth.
Debunk the lies and get them to see. So
Hmm.
maybe the next time we will think of maybe I'm not too sure how, but we'll
Yeah,
see how that would.
yeah. I'm always down and available, and
Yeah,
obviously I'll be
yeah.
in your DMs. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you. I had a
Thank
great
you.
time.
Thank you, me too. Have a lovely
Bye.
night.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone. We've come to the end of
Bye.
our live.